So normally I would have for a training like the one that you're about to witness and to download to yourself, I would have the cameras and everything else. But I actually just moved in to my brand new office, as you can kind of see in the background here. And everything's not done. I don't even have a proper microphone. I literally just have my AirPods at this point. But what you're about to go through is the combination of years, like literally actual years of me helping seven-figure businesses, sorry, lower than seven-figure businesses become high six and seven-figure businesses. And in most cases, multiple seven-figure businesses. The methodologies inside, and this is not some long, like 2-hour training, but the methodologies inside are like, when I say tested and proven, not like once, I'm talking tens of thousands of times. And this is really a combination of all of that. So anyways, I'm going to get back to the actual iPad, but I just wanted to say hi. I'm excited for you to go through this, to be able to download this, to implement it inside of your business. And excited if you, at the end, if you say yes to the intensive, the 7-Figure Foundation intensive, I'm excited to hang out with you in there as well. Alrighty. Well, with that said, let's sit down, let's get into it, and let me switch over to the iPad. Alrighty, we are here. Let me just make sure that I'm actually recording this. That would be terrible, wouldn't it? All right, so let me make sure that I am sharing my screen. There it is. Let me just get it back up. There we go. Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here. This is not going to take a lot of time. I just want to share what I've learned. I'm going to go through based upon where you are in your business, why that's a problem. I'm going to go through my 6 pillars. I'm going to go through some marketing methodologies. I'm going to go through all these different types of things. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you that the easiest way to solve all of this and to get the plan is to pay me $1,000. Okay. And the easiest way to be able to do that is going to be over 4 weeks with an intensive that's going to be coming up. And I'm going to offer you 4 intensive weeks of training, 4 weeks of hot seats with me, the ability to message me directly, the ability to get a bunch of other deep dive training that I think is going to be really effective for you if you're scaling a 7-figure business, and a call with me to be able to make sure that you are on the right track. It's not a long call, just 20 minutes, but it's just enough time to be able for me to be able to look at your strategy and say, that's in the right direction or that's not in the right direction. And here's why. Okay. So that's the intention. The intention of this video is to make it so that you know, quite literally, that there is something missing for you to be able to grow to the next level. And more than likely what's missing is the clarity and the direction and the methodologies inside. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm the one with all the answers, because not, okay? I've done this enough to know what works, what doesn't. Doesn't matter if it's me or somebody else. You wouldn't be looking at this video right now if you were not in a place where you're like, I don't have perfect clarity, I don't have all the answers, I am looking for some help to be able to scale to the next level, you would just pass on this video and you were just like, well, whatever, Scott's doing this thing. Who is this Scott guy? Okay. All right. So I just say that to say you understand the reason that I'm doing this. Yes, I love teaching stuff, but more than anything else, I know that if you come into this intensive, on the other side of this intensive, you are going to be absolutely happy. I know this because the people that come into this are like, why didn't you charge $10,000? And maybe I should charge $10,000, but I wouldn't be able to get so many people inside. And I like having 100, 100 so people in this each time I'm doing it. Okay, so 7-figure foundations. Let's kind of go through this. What I'm about to share with you, if you're doing less than $10,000 a month, some of it may not make complete sense. Okay. If you're doing above $100,000 a month, some of it also may not make a lot of sense. So it's almost a little too advanced, maybe. If you are under $10,000 a month, and if you're above $100,000 a month, it's probably going to be more so. Maybe I can think about this a little bit differently. Okay. So it's not necessarily not relevant, but this general place is where this training is intended. Okay. So I want to go through the problems. I'm going to go through 4 different phases. Okay. If you're here right now and you're making under $10,000 a month, more than likely the core thing to be able to get you to scale is people don't know what it is that you actually do. People don't really understand how your offer works. You don't understand your offer. Your offer is kind of like wishy-washy. You can't just say, hey, this is how I can help you. Boom. Your skill isn't up to par, meaning you're actually not that good at what you do. So you need to go and, get in the trenches and be able to make things work, or you need to have more intimacy with your ideal customer. Okay. So when people come to me and they're at $10,000 a month, they say, okay, Are you relevant? If you introduce yourself in 30 seconds, does that person understand? No? Okay, well, let's go fix that. Now, if they do and you give them an offer, are they going to understand it and say, yes, that's irresistible. I want to pay you money? No? Okay, well, go fix that. Are you now? Of course, there's some mindset stuff, but we're going to stick on strategy today. Okay. Um, skill. Listen, a lot of the time, if you're probably not here on this training, if your skill is lacking, more than likely. But a lot of the time, if your relevancy and offer isn't dialed in, or you can't actually perform what it is, you need to go and perhaps go and go down a level in terms of what you're offering, offering things with more higher level of intimacy, or doing things for people, or really putting in the reps. And then finally, are you connecting with enough people? What you may not know, my business back in 2013 to 2015, 100% of my marketing budget, and I built a $3 million plus year agency, was me simply going and number one, being on podcasts, and number two, literally doing lunches and dinners with 8 to 10 people at a time. Okay. Like we're talking grassroots. That was my marketing budget, and I had a multi-million dollar agency. All right. So intimacy makes a lot of sense here. All right, so now let's go to $10,000 to $25,000 a month. So you get a lot of hope marketing here, right? So a lot of people that end up utilizing referrals, utilizing like a lot of different things that have gotten them to, let's say, a $15,000 or $20,000 a month. Let's say they have somebody that gives them a great referral, or let's say they're based upon organic. There's something that is bringing them business, but they don't know when. Right. Another big problem here is, of course, there's generally a team of one or only one other person, which means that a lot of the things that you're doing aren't what you really should be doing. Another big problem here, generally, not always, is that your audience is so small that the number of people that you can actually sell to is so small that it doesn't matter what you do. There's only you have a 2,000 person audience. There's probably only 70 people in there at any given time, even if you were perfectly optimized everywhere else, that could ever buy from you. Probably even less than that, if we're honest. And then, of course, relevancy is still generally an issue here. Most of the time, it's dialed in a little bit more. But what we'll find is that if someone's gotten a 10 to 25,000 a month, they're either been really good at relevancy or really good at intimacy. All right. A lot of times people are really good at intimacy, not good at relevancy. A lot of times when people are really good at relevancy, they're not good with intimacy. So we want to bring them both together. And then, of course, the other kind of core lever here to be able to switch for scaling, being in front of your audience more, right? So if you've got a 2,000 person audience and they only see you on average 2 times a month, we want that to be 10 times a month, because we know the more we show up in someone's life, the higher the chances are. We're essentially increasing the circumference of luck, right? The circumference of that person being at the right time, in the right place to buy from you. Right, so that's 10 to 25,000 a month. Again, this is not every problem. Everything's nuanced, okay? So everything's nuanced, but this is a general, 80% of the time. And sometimes there's obviously overlap in terms of revenue level. All right, 25, 50K a month. This is where we want to start getting into automated marketing. This is, a lot more evergreen type of marketing. This is where we are probably going to start, like up until 25 to $50,000 a month. You don't really know your business model. So this is the time in which it's really important to understand your business model, understand your vision, having clarity on a business, what you want to build, because there's literally like dozens of different business models you can build. Up to this point, it's like, well, whatever gets money in the bank and gets me enough money to be able to start building a real business. But this here is about building a scalable, sustainable, safe business, right? And then all while at the same time increasing your audience. Because if you have an online business, one of the largest things that's going to make it much easier for you to be able to grow a business more than the other person. What is it? It's audience, right? It's almost always audience. All right. So that's always important. But one thing here, which is at 10 to 25K, a lot of the time you don't have enough money, you don't have enough time to be able to do those things. And the only thing that I will say here that is the asterisk of this is if you're an influencer in the space, but you haven't monetized. But that doesn't happen that often. 1 out of 100 people that come to me are that person, but I just want to put an asterisk there about it. All right, so 50 to 100K, this is when, and again, revenue is not always necessarily a great indicator, because profit, also is, which is why, again, this is 80% of the time. But this is when someone, in my opinion, really starts having a business. Like up to this point, it's really personal, but at this point, it's starting to become business. Right. So this is when someone has to go from being like just hustle, hustle, hustle to having more of this king queen energy. This is when you really want to double down on audience. This is when we need to start doubling down on brand reputation, different traffic sources, actually looking at and caring about conversion, having multiple funnels in a business so that we have an evergreen flow of leads so that we never have a situation. So we when we're scaling, we always want to create a scenario where we have more demand than we have supply. Right? Because if we have more demand than we have supply, what's going to happen? We're going to be in a situation where we have options. Right? We have options of how we build a sales team. We have options of how we spend our money because we know more money is going to be coming in. The last thing you want to do is have a seven-figure hamster wheel, right? This is what I mean by that, which is a seven-figure hamster wheel is that if you built a business and let's say it's doing $75,000 a month, but at $75,000 a month, it's still using hope marketing, right? We don't really know where your next lead is going to come from. You don't know where your next customer is coming from. You can't really plan the business very well. You can't very much. You can't plan beyond the month. You can't be a king or queen because you're kind of hustling. You're in a hamster wheel, and it feels worse than when you were at maybe $20,000 a month because now you have team and you have overhead and you have all these different types of things. Very stressful. The number of people that come to me that are at $75,000 a month and the whole thing feels like a facade because they simply did not get the foundations the right way. Now the cool thing is you can change this. But it can be very stressful if you don't. This is also where we're really focused on increasing lifetime value, obviously retention. And this is going to be really where you start being like, okay, how do I want this team? How do I want the business to perform so that, I understand what the team and delivery looks like? How do I make it so that I'm not the bottleneck? How do I make it so that I'm not waking up every day stressed and anxious all the time? The last thing you want to do is have a lot of money but no time. But even worse than having a lot of money and no time, back in 2019, I was doing like $1 million a month, right? And the profit was okay, but the problem was there was so much was reliant on me. Like I didn't do a good job at structuring the team and the infrastructure of this particular business. Okay, and so because of this, it was like I outsourced everything, but because I didn't have the right structural controls and KPIs and dashboards, and keep in mind this is an eight-figure business. I had a lot of time and I had a decent amount of money, but I had a lot of stress. And I'd rather have less time and less money and less stress than more money, more time, and a lot of stress. It's just not fun. It's just not a fun place to be. And as we go, we're always trying to kind of, what business model allows me to have the highest amount of alignment, building a business that is ethical to my value system, that allows me to get the life that I want. Okay. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But anyway, these are the problems that happen at these stages. Okay. And all of it comes down to every single business, doesn't matter where you are, it all comes down to these six pillars. And I talk about this in my nuclear effect book, thenucleareffect.com. You can download it for free if you don't have it already. It's 278-page amazing book I put out in 2020, August 2020. Been downloaded or been sold about 80,000 times, been downloaded over 100,000 times now, 120,000 times. Six pillars. So everything in business, if you look at a business, the thing that is stopping a business from scaling comes down to either marketing, sales, operations, delivery, finance, mindset, and a combination of these things. Okay. And so the thing is that we're always balancing, right? Marketing and sales and operations and delivery. And we, of course, have finance and mindset over here that's kind of ruling the game, right? Because if we don't have money, we do not have the ability to put money into marketing and sales, which means that we're going to have a stagnant business. If our mindset is sabotaging us, if we have old belief systems that are no longer useful for where we are, we're going to sabotage everything, right? Most of the time, the reason the marketing funnel isn't done isn't because someone couldn't get it done. It's because of the mindset. The reason why someone won't spend money on ads isn't because of anything else, but perhaps the fact that they don't trust themselves. Right. So the six pillars really deem and allow us to understand generally two of these six is the stopping force. And those are the ones that we really need to focus on. All right. So the six pillars in your business are a really simple exercise. It's just, and I talk about this and I share it freely, you don't have to pay me anything for it, is to take these six, put them down on a piece of paper, and then put all your problems And then just take the problems. All right, which one am I going to solve in the next 30 days and go solve them, come back to it, do it again, do it again, do it again. Then once you have a team, do it with your team. You got to realize businesses scale by being able to solve problems. If you don't have any problems, you don't have a business you can scale. If you have problems in a business, you know your business has more ability to scale, right? Okay, so that's 6 pillars, right? And so really what this comes down to is when you're going through this is there's a symptom, right, in your business. All right? So let's say it's lead flow, right? So the symptom is I don't have customers. Problem is I don't have a marketing funnel, right? And let me understand how a marketing funnel works. Let me understand how I'm going to implement it, and let me go solve it. And then I go back and let me do this again. Very simple process. A business is just simply understanding the problem, right? Understanding the symptom, understanding the problem, understanding how to solve that problem based upon what makes sense for where you are in your business. Now, this is the major place. Most of the time when people get mentorship from me, they know what the symptom is. I'm not telling them what the problem is. They come to me, they know what the problem is, but it's either A, they haven't been able to figure out how to solve it. B, they're trying to have an insurance policy based upon, ensuring that they do it the right way. Or C, they want to know the best way possible so that they don't have to go and spend 2 years of their life trying to figure it out themselves. Okay. So this is generally speaking, if you have a business coach, a mentor, whatever, this is the place which is going to be the most important, right? How to solve a problem. Yeah, you still got to solve it. You still got to implement it. Still got to do it. But really, it's the understanding of how to do it for you that's in alignment to your life, in integrity with how you want to build your business. Because we want to build a business that's around your life, right? We don't want to build it so that your life is around the business because we're going to build a chaos. We're just going to build exhaustion. We're going to build burnout. Right? Can you have a successful business that is great for your life? Yes, but it requires a lot of boundary. It requires a lot of planning, and it requires maybe a little bit slower growth than you're going to want. But it certainly is possible. And I've come to realize and understand that. Um, would I rather have a $20 million a year business and work 70 hours a week and have a lot of stress, or would I rather have a $4 million a year business and have all the time I want, no stress, and complete ease? Well, I'll be honest with you, the amount of money I make from a $4 million business or a $20 million business pretty much gives me the same life. I'm living in the same wonderful place. I'm flying the same and traveling the same way. Pretty much everything is the same. The only difference is, well, do I want to say, oh, look at my $20 million business, or do I want to say, well, look at my lifestyle business? And in my particular circumstance, I'd rather hang out with my 2.5-year-old. I'd rather have a great relationship with my wife. I would rather go and spend the day driving my car, shoot bow and arrow, going in the forest, go on Odyssey do, travel in the world without the stress of building something to impress somebody else. And I don't know if that's you, but that's what I've come to essentially realize and understand. Okay. Now, see, under 100K a month, most problems come down to money, right? And most of the time, money is directly related to customers. And if you want more customers, it comes down to having more attention of them, more awareness from them, or more presence from them. Okay. These things. And so attention, awareness, and presence, what's the other name? What's the marketing word for that? The marketing word for that is marketing and sales, right? Because if someone's paying attention to you and they have awareness around how you help them and you have their presence, you're pretty much going to get paid by them, right? And so these three methodologies that I developed in 2015, 2018, and 2020, number one being the 3 lane method, number two being the ROI method, and number three being the levels of consciousness method, allow you to be able to understand how to utilize marketing and sales in the most effective way. Now, this is super exciting stuff because I've given you the overview here. And listen, I have courses, I have all this type of stuff that goes into all this. But the reason I built this intensive down here that you're going to pay me $1,000 for at the end of this, it goes deep into this stuff and it gives you the additional training into this stuff so that you really understand it. Because my belief is this, which is if you understand how to capture and maintain someone's attention and you're able to get inside of someone's sphere of awareness and you're able to create the love of yourself in presence, okay? Right? Presence is so one of the major reasons someone's going to buy from you versus somebody else, especially under $1 million, is your presence. And this can be in the form of intimacy. This could be a form that how you carry yourself in a video. This could be
how you write, your presence is very important. But presence really at the end of the day, that's pretty much just come down to marketing and sales. Right? And so if we can solve the marketing and sales, if we can, uh, um, are you going to have delivery issues, team issues, operations, SOPs, figuring out your financial, like, I'm not going to lie to you. You got lots of problems you are going to have to solve to be able to build a multi-seven-figure business. And if you don't have money, you're not going to be able to solve the problem because either you're not going to be able to hire the right people, you're not going to have enough time to be able to solve the problem, or you're not going to get to the point where it even matters. So my belief is creating so much demand for you and your business that you have really a tap to open up the energy, right? Which is money, the energy to be able to solve these problems. Okay. So I don't talk about marketing sales as like the be all end all because it's not. But if you're under seven figures, under 100K a month, it kind of is, right? It kind of is. And generally, if anyone tells you different, it's because they're not good at it, right? And to be truthful, operations and delivery makes a great business. Like you don't get the 3 to 5 million without having great operations team, those things, right? Or just like a working 80 hours a week. But the best businesses that get the 3 to 5 million and have the ability to scale, you have to have great team. You have to have great operations. You have to have those things. But until then, it's about having people that want to pay you money to solve their problem. Okay. So first methodology. I'm going to go through these real quick. Okay. I'm just going to give the overview. I want to tell you the level of depth that I have on these is significant. It's crazy. Right. But I believe if I just share these with you, you're going to be like, I mean, why didn't I think about that before? Like that's the most, of course, that makes sense. All right. So 3 lane method. Very simple. There are sidewalkers, slow laners, and fast laners. So all the leads that are coming, you got 100 people, right? 60% of them are in the sidewalk. About 30, let's say 5 of them are in the slow lane. About 3 to 5% of them are in the fast lane. Okay. Now, the way that you talk to sidewalkers, the truth is they don't necessarily know their pain, they don't know their problem, and they don't necessarily know the consequence. I'm not going to try to write it out because I'm not great at writing to start with. At the slow laner, they're looking for your process, they're looking for your methodology, they're looking for a case study, right? They're looking to see you as the authority. I can do that word. Right? They're looking for the road to how things need to be. How do I do this? Right? More than likely, if you're watching this video, you're at the upper echelon of the slow lane, the lower echelon of the fast lane. All right. And then in the fast lane, this is when somebody is looking for the solution. This is when somebody is looking, hey, what's life going to be like after? How can I picture this? How can I visualize this a little bit more? And of course, we're taking care of objections, right, over here in the fast lane. Now, what happens if you treat all your customers like they're ready to buy today? You're going to lose most of them. Now, what happens if you get somebody and they want to buy? There's a reason why. There's a reason why at the beginning of this video I said I pitched first. You know what the reason is? I don't want to have some. If somebody's in the fast lane and they watch this video, they just want to pay the $1,000 right there and then because they know they have the problem. Why make them wait 30 minutes to do it? I'm going to lose them. Right. So the last thing you want to do, you take someone on a sales call and you're bringing them through a sales script when in reality, just from the warmth and the temperature that they're ready to buy. Have a 5-minute call. Heck, skip the call, skip the pitch, and go right to text. Okay. All right. So that's the sidewalk, slow lane, fast lane method. The idea of it is that all of our marketing, all of our sales processes are based upon being able to filter people based upon engagement, based upon behavior, and based upon lead source so that we're giving and delivering the right information, the right message at the right time to bring them to that next level. Okay. So then we have the ROI method. ROI method is pretty simple. ROI method is this, right? ROI method says if we are more relevant and we are delivering more omnipresence, which is impressions, and we are creating more intimacy, we're going to have far more customers. And there's 8 parts of relevancy. I won't necessarily go into them, but this is like your messaging, how you're positioned, what your offer is like, your unfair advantage, these different types of things. And so if you want to have more, if you want to have someone buy from you and they don't understand that you can even help them, you're screwed, right? Then further than this, if you are the person that can help them and you're clear about it, but you're not in front of an audience, your audience enough for them to even pay attention to you, they're not going to have awareness of you and they can't pay you. Right. So omnipresence allows us to have enough attention to the right people enough so that they actually pay attention to us. Because once, twice, 10 times isn't enough. And then finally, intimacy allows for someone to be able to buy from you because they trust you. And so this comes down to community, connection, and conversation, especially under 1 million a year in your business. Right. And if you master ROI, what happens? You have people that want to buy from you. You have people that see you as an authority. You have people that are willing to pay you your price, not the market price. You have people that are never going to refund. You have people that literally will buy from you over text, will never even think a second about it. You don't have to do any 2, 3, 4 call closes, no proposals. You don't have to think of any of those things because people are seeing you as an authority. They believe you, they trust you, they like you, they're ready to do business with you. And more than likely, they're going to have the highest level of results because they respect you. And when we respect somebody, we want to do the best for them. That's how respect works. Right? And so in many ways, the ROI method allows your leads to respect you, not just as a business, but as a human being. It's very powerful to be on the opposite side of that. Very powerful for your customer because they're going to produce the best results possible in their life business relationship to be able to adhere to almost repay that respect. Okay. So that is the ROI method. And then finally, the levels of consciousness method. It's not really called that, but we're going to call it today. Essentially, we have, sorry, sorry, I mean, I glitched. Reactive consciousness, willful consciousness. I don't use scripts, so everything I'm saying here is just direct. Willful consciousness, intellectual consciousness. I've never been able to use a script. I'm not good at that. I'm good at just let it flow, and if it's not perfect, that's fine because I'm certainly not perfect. Okay, it's cool. So here we go. Every single person, so there's essentially 4 core levels of consciousness inside a business. There's reactive consciousness, willful consciousness, intellectual consciousness, and intuitive consciousness. Right, and now you have a primary and secondary level of consciousness. Okay, and so the whole element here is that if your marketing and sales is out of alignment, or your business is out of alignment with your level of consciousness, you're probably not going to enjoy your marketing and sales. It's not going to feel very good to you. All right, so and I'm going to give you an example of this. So reactive marketing would be on here. There'd be a timer on the screen, and there'd be like dates, and be like, "Hey, you can only get this offer right now." And normally it's $5,000, but the day it's $1,000. Right. So my intention with reactive consciousness marketing would to be put you into a response where essentially your brain is tricked into a primal response, a fight or flight response. Right? Most of the marketing is like this. And so, and this works on a massive part of the population. It just so happens it doesn't to my customers because I don't really have much reactive consciousness. Not zero because that's not how life works, but very little on a day-to-day basis. I'm not building my life. I'm not running what I do on reactiveness. Okay. So that's what that would look like. All right. On willful consciousness, I'd be here and saying, hey, listen, you've got to work 80 hours a week if you want to scale a 7-figure business. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but I know you can do it. I know you can do it. And I'm going to show you the way to be able to do it. I got the 4 steps. I got the 4 frameworks. It's going to be a lot of work, but I know that you can do it. If you're here today, I know that you can do it. Okay. So listen to my frame of language. Okay. Was about you can do this. You've got this. So the person who's in willful consciousness is consistently in do. Very warrior. But by the way, guys, like there's nothing wrong with any of these levels of consciousness. It's not like the intuitive consciousness is like the best consciousness. I'd say willful consciousness is a great consciousness to build a 7-figure business from. Like I'm not trying to demonize this. I'm just trying to play it up. The intellectual would be very like, hey, I'm here at the training, but like, where's the case studies? I'm scrolling on the page. Where's the case studies? Right? How does someone go from this to this? Like, show me the data, show me the analysis, show me all the information. Right? And then the intuitive person probably made their decision on the first 45 seconds. You're probably going to chuckle at this, but the first 45 seconds where I was on the iPhone video, that person's like, yeah, you know what? I'm feeling good about this guy. I like this guy. Let me do this. right? So all your marketing funnel, the way that you speak, the way that you portray videos, the way that your sales page is designed, everything has to be on this filter on who am I trying to attract, right? Because if I'm on this page and I'm not looking to attract reactive people, but if I was on this page and I was like, okay, I want to be able to get the mass amount of customers. I want 1,000 people into this, which I don't want right now. I would be like, okay, I need to have reactive marketing. Right? I need to have reactive marketing. I need to have a time frame. I need to have bonuses. I need to have all these different types of things that would attract me, that person that's in reactivity, to be able to be like, wow, like this is the deal of a lifetime. I'm never going to get another opportunity like this. Like this is my one chance to get mentored by Scott. Like I'm never going to ever have another opportunity to do this. And like the livelihood of my kids is going to be based on this. I'm really playing it up here. Okay. But if I don't do that, I'm not going to get reactive people, right? I'm not going to get reactive people. So the way that of course, I market is kind of a combination of these three because there's a combination of who I am. And I'm like, hey, it's $1,000. Here it is. It's pretty much the marketing that you see is the combination of this. But even the design, right? If you Willful's very like red, right? Intuitive is much more white space tan, neutrals. Okay. So if you don't understand this methodology, you may have the product for someone that's intuitive, but you're using the marketing of reactive willful and being like, why are all the wrong people showing up? Or you might be intellectual, and because you are too intellectual consciousness, you are selling intellectual consciousness, and you're like, man, we got the best facts, we got the best case studies, and nobody's buying anything. And the more than likely, that's because you are selling to a willful consciousness, but in an intellectual way. And generally speaking, that's not going to work that well. Willful consciousness needs just a little smidgen of intellectual consciousness, but mostly they're going to buy based upon future-based vision emotion. This is the methodology that's very, very important. I'd say this is probably of the three the most important once you get to a level of being able to really scale because you understand how you and your business work simultaneously together. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving on. Remember, in the intensive, I'm going deep on these. And I'm giving you all the training contents on them. All right, so like if you're like, oh my God, I'm hooked, you should probably pay me $1,000 and come through this intensive with me. Okay. So, all right. What did I write down here? I wrote this a while ago. I don't even know what I don't even know what this is down here, but we're going to go through it anyways. So, oh, I know. Okay. So it's quite simple like this, which is more than likely, if you're under $1 million a year, you don't really kind of know where you're going. All you know is you're scaling a business, you're growing a business. So like to be honest with you, like that's fine. You don't have to figure out what your life purpose is. I don't actually think it's a good strategy to figure out what your life purpose is because it might change pretty quick. But here's what this does. Marketing sales allows you to have money. Money allows you to have momentum. Momentum allows you to be able to easily shift direction and allows you to have time so you understand where your actual destination is. Right. So in many ways, it allows you to more quickly find the destination that you're going towards. And for all intents and purposes, allows you to understand what journey you're committing to. All right. So I just want you to close your eyes for a minute. If you're all open to that, if you don't, you keep your eyes open. You don't have to. Totally up to you. Just sit for a second. Don't worry, I'm not gonna bring you through some hypnotherapy or anything like that. Not against it though. And on a scale of 1 to 10, on a financial level, I want you to rate where you are. Right. So 10 is being a billionaire or having everything you ever want. 1 is you have nothing, homeless. So look at your car, look at all those different types of things. I'll just wait for a second for you to understand that. So maybe you drive a Toyota Corolla and you want a Benz, or you want a Tesla, or you want a McLaren. Maybe you drive, or maybe you rent a house. You want to buy one. Maybe you got 10 grand in the bank, you want 100 grand in the bank, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. All right. Now I want you to go up 2 levels. So I want you to go and I want you to think about all in which you are, what your business looks like, everything, what it looks like. Just go through the life areas, what your relationship looks like, how much more you trust yourself, how much you might even love yourself more, as sad as that might seem. And I just want you to feel what that feels like. I've done this exercise. I did this exercise from 2018 to 2022 every day, sometimes multiple times a day. It drastically changed my life, my friends. Now, I'm not going to do the whole hour on this because we will actually go into this quite a bit when we do the intensive together, but you can open your eyes. And the truth is, your business can bring you where you want to be, right? And money certainly doesn't necessarily make you happier. It simply allows you to understand yourself. It allows you to amplify your experience, right? And it allows you, the truth is, $100,000 business brings you right about here on the levels of the hierarchy of needs, right? So you're finally safe, kind of have the things you want. And right here, level 3, you really start understanding why you're here. You have had enough money, so you take care of all the material things and you get into what is it that I really want to spend my life doing? Because being rich or wealthy, in my opinion, is waking up and being able to do what you want when you want, for whatever reason you want. You don't have, like, that's it, period. That might make it so it's $1 million a year for you. It might be $10 million a year for you. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever that is. And I've seen the impact of this in many ways, right? This is why I love working with people that are under 100K a month. I don't have to work with people 100K a month. Majority of the businesses that I invest in, majority of the people I actually mentor, full on, are far above $100,000 a month. But here's the thing. The largest change on the planet comes from the person that was making $5,000 a month, but now is making $100,000 a month. And the reason is because you finally look in yourself in the mirror and know that you can craft and change reality. And the power of that is so significant that I believe that's what truly expands the universe. So the person going from 100,000 to 1 million a month, in my opinion, has a lot less effect than the person going from 10,000 to 100,000. You show me the person that was making 5,000 a month versus the person that's making 100,000 a month, and I'll show you an entirely different person. The person that's making 100,000 that goes to 1 million is a slightly different person. And I love that transformation. I love that experience of seeing somebody understand that they can craft and weave reality, that they are a reality creator. And money is a part of that, right? Money is a part of that. But that's why I love doing this. And I can tell you story after story. One comes to mind. I was in Mexico, and I had this person came up to me, and they said 3 years ago I was living under train tracks in a 300 square foot apartment, and I followed your stuff, and it was less about even following me. It was just their journey as an entrepreneur. I can't take I can't take credit for them. Okay, to be clear. But anyways, they followed some of my stuff, they read my book, so on. And they said, now I just bought a 5-bedroom house that my family is with me in this beautiful place on a couple of acres. And boy, like that just hit, right? That just hit. And so that's why I love majority of the things that I do aren't this, but I love doing this part because I know the change is significant. And in the truth, it's not as complicated as people think it is. Okay. So here's the thing. I want you, I wasn't intending that story to be as like, I kind of got a little bit, just going back to that moment 3.5 years ago now, but still very much remember it. Anyways, so the 7-figure foundations, listen, this is what you need. All right. How you get there. I honestly, I don't care. Okay. Like, follow my free stuff. You can go to somebody else. There's lots of great people out there. I'm by far not the best person for. I don't really look at who else is out there, to be honest with you. But there's people I've mentored that are great at what they do. There's you don't have to. I'm not the only one. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But if you're here, you're vibing with me, you're like, hey, I want to learn more from this person. I'm going to give you 4 weeks of this stuff. All right, we're going to go through vision, model, clarity. We're going to go through the frameworks I talked about. We're going to go through strategy. At the end of it, you're going to have the mindset, the plan, and the clarity to be able to be like, this is my 7-figure business. Let's go build it. And if you're here and you have a 7-figure business, but it feels more like a hustle, more like a hamster wheel, I'm going to help you structure it in the right way. All right. So it's 4 weeks of training, 4 weeks of hot seats, Telegram access to me the whole time. It's going to be about 40, 45 days Telegram access. I'm going to get a bunch of extra training that I'm going to give to you for free so that you can go even deeper on the models. And you're having a call with me. How does that work? There's a link. And then you're going to answer 9 questions. I'm going to look at those 9 questions the morning of. I'm going to come on the call. I'm going to tell you, this is what you need to know. And it's either going to be, hey, this is the strategy that you need to do instead, or hey, here's the mindset. Like, here's your mindset gaps, and you need to focus on that. All right. This is $1,000, arguably going to be one of the best $1,000 you've ever spent. Unlike a course, you got me here. Unlike most things, I would tell you, this should definitely be more expensive. Now that I've actually gone through this with you, I'm second guessing the pricing, but here we are. I did this in one take. I'm not going to edit it, so that's fine. $1,000. Go. There's like a link somewhere on this page. I hope to God, at least. Go sign up. Let's get you in for the next intake. This is all live. I do stream the recordings, but I'm there with you, doing questions in the chat. All the hot seats are live. This is not me and my team. This is me and you. Okay. This is me and you. I don't have like a hard cap on this, but you're not going to come in. There's 500 people there. Okay. So all the details you hear. Listen, I appreciate you spending time with me today. This has been 40 something minutes. Hopefully it's worthwhile. Appreciate you. Send the love your way, and excited for you to build your business, whether that's with me or without me. Regardless, you're crafting reality. You're making the world a better place. You're helping people. That's all that matters. All right. Hopefully see you inside. Talk soon.